Although our show focuses on the Standardbred athlete, we love bringing in Dr. Christopher Baldt to talk about the equine anatomy and ways to make your favorite equine of any breed happy and healthy. In this segment, Dr. Baldt discusses the spine. And if you're a horse lover, this feature has some great information about the spine and the importance of it, no matter what kind of activity you and your horse are participating in. Tell me a little about the structure and the function of the equine spine.
The equine spine, or specifically the equine skeletal system, is very similar to that of the human. The human having 206 bones in our entire body. Equines have 205, and their spine is very similar. Here's where the similarities are. Both a horse and a human have 7 cervical vertebrae. The first one being up right behind the ear, okay, and that's called your atlas. The second one being called your axis. The atlas allows the horse to tuck his head up and down. The axis allows the head to turn side to side. So when a horse has trouble with when they're running with the head turned, or they're having trouble flexing either way, this is one of the most common areas to take a look at. Moving down, we have the 7th cervical is going to be down in this area here. The next group are going to be called the thoracic spine, and there's 18 of those, and they attach to pairs of ribs on each side. The last area is going to be what's called the lumbar spine, and there's going to be 6 lumbar vertebrae with a tailbone we call the sacrum or the croup, and then we've got 2 joints in the back called the sacroiliac joints. This is the greatest area of strain in a horse because this is where the power comes from.
What types of signs could indicate spinal problems in my horse?
Oftentimes we'll see, one of the most common things we'll see is stiffness or soreness upon palpation or touching. There's some common areas for most horses having trouble. Oftentimes when you're trying to put the bridle on, you'll have issues. If they have issues in the upper part of the neck, they will throw their head away from it. Also, when you're trying to flex their head side to side, they could have limitations in movement. In the lower part of the neck where it attaches area, we call this the wither area, and it's part of the thoracic chain. And so down here is the last wither, which is called the T14. And this area here is when the vertebrae, which are tapering off in this direction, then meet the vertebra coming off this way. They call it anticlinal. And so there can be a pinching in this area here. With standardbreds, they put a strap across here that helps hold the harness on. So oftentimes these horses will have a lot of tenderness at this point here. In the lower part of the spine, as I mentioned, the thoracic spine here has ribs attached. The lumbar do not have ribs attached, so as a result, they're kind of hanging out here floating. But what the horses do is they have auxiliary joints along the side that are called the intertransverse joints. And so oftentimes they can get stiffness or soreness in these joints just because they don't have the support like the rib cage has. And the sacrum itself and the pelvis, the big muscles for propulsion, which are going to be the hamstring muscles here, attached to them. So the pushing and the movements like that can cause all kinds of trouble in the lower part of the spine.
How can spinal problems be diagnosed?
We look for behaviors. We look for a horse's behavior. There's some kind of a refusal. If this was a riding horse, they might be sore putting the saddle on or putting the girth on. When a horse is being rigged up and they're moving away from the pressure or moving away from some sort of touching, you know that there could be a problem. When you press in on a sore spot, you'll often see the horse will give away. And when they give way, that could be an indication that there's soreness. So one of the things we take a look at, if the horse isn't acting right, it's short striding, it looks like the flexibility is not where it used to be, or it's having pain behaviors, it's throwing it, head tossing, it could be bucking, it could be causing all kinds of behaviors. So observation is one of the first things that we can do. The second thing is we could try to locate the area through a palpation. Now, most owners know what their horse feels like. So when they run over an area and the horse will flinch or move out of the way, they know there's a tenderness. And so that's the time they might need to call a professional in. Obviously, one of the most important things to do is have a good relationship with the veterinarian to make sure that it's not a pathological problem that requires veterinary care. If that's not the case and the vet clears it, often it's just like a musculoskeletal problem that may need one of 3 things. Maybe a little chiropractic alignment, maybe some sort of muscle work or massage, or some sort of therapy like PEMF therapy or laser therapy to help reduce some of the problems that the horse is experiencing.
What are the appropriate approved treatments available?
The University of Tennessee, the veterinary hospital at the University of Tennessee has run through a whole gamut of what is appropriate for horses. And obviously being standardbred horses, there's a lot of medications that can and can't be used. So a lot of things that are very appropriate. One of the most significantly approved thing is obviously manipulation for the spine. Increasing range of motion, decreasing muscle spasm is going to increase performance of the horse. I think the second most common thing and the most successful is going to be some sort of laser, like a light cure laser or something like that, that helps bring red blood cells to the area, decreases inflammation, and stimulates healing. There's other modalities that do give some benefit, like massage is always very beneficial. And there's actually acupuncture that does benefit some horse. But as each horse, like a human, is different, each horse, like a human, is going to respond. I have some horses that respond really well to massage alone, some that respond really well to chiropractic manipulation alone, and some that do more benefit from acupuncture. So you know your horse, you try a different modality, you see if it works in a quickly and efficient manner, and then you decide whether it needs more care.
How will I know if the condition is improving?
There's a couple things. When the horse is feeling better, it's going to perform better. You might see that it's eating more regularly. It's moving with more regulation and freedom of movement. You're also going to notice that there's less pain behaviors. Maybe it's not agitated. Maybe it's not rearing out. It's rearing up. It's not head tossing. And it's not refusing to do the things that you want it to do. A comfortable horse, a less stressed horse, is a horse that performs better and is a safer horse to be around.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baldt, for a great interview. And I hope all of you horse enthusiasts learn a little something about the equine spine and your horse's well-being. If you would like to contact Dr. Baldt, just log on to his website at drbaldt.com. One more thing, we gotta give props to Jammin' Jack, who is a Vic Kirby trainee, and he is so great with being our four-legged assistant with Dr. Baldt's segments. Jammin' Jack is a 6-year-old trotter who competes here in Delaware. And not only does he love getting attention in the winner circle, but he loves being a part of our post-time show family with these informative features. So a special thanks to the Kirby Stable and Jammin' Jack for your help.